I just want everyone to see my little moth baby. These are better than Labubus. They're called Skull Pandas. I traded my friend another figure to get her from, because she didn't want her. And I love her so much. And she's moth themed. I really like moths. But not in reality. I like the aesthetic of moths, which I think is a common opinion. Anyway, welcome back to another episode of Last Week in Comics, where I talk about the last week in comics. I think we can just get into it. We're jumping into, we're getting that first month of comics going, baby! Let's actually start off with one of the bigger releases of this week, which was, of course, DCKO number 3. God, why can't this event just be over yet? I read it. My opinions about this event have not fucking changed. This is possibly and again, I need everyone to remember, I am not a recent comic fan. I have been reading comics since I was 12. I lived in the aftermath of Civil War 1 and got to see Civil War 2 be published in real time, okay? Okay? Let's just say I know what a bad event feels like by now, and DCKO has to be probably one of the worst. And this is coming from someone who understands why Secret Wars was popular, why people enjoyed it, why people were trying to read it. And it kind of feels like DCKO wants to be Secret Wars, but it doesn't realize that Secret Wars was made in a very early stage of comic book event, rather than the stage that we are currently in now, where it's hell. If you're gonna fucking power scale in this book, you cannot go, actually, I use Nyxophilix. You can't fucking do that if you're actually gonna power scale, because Joker should have been out 5 rounds ago, okay? And I mean 5. We're only on round 2 or something, but he shouldn't have even been in here. He shouldn't have. Why does the Joker need to be here? I feel even with you could make that excuse but it's because Batman's popular, that's why the Joker's there. I don't even think anymore that the Joker is anyone's favorite Batman villain. It's normies' favorite Batman. It's people who don't read comics. If you ask someone who's a self-proclaimed Batman fan who doesn't read comics, they would unanimously say that their favorite Batman villain's the Joker, and that's because he's the only one who gets goddamn adapted. Anyway, so the big thing with this round is that everyone got to essentially revive someone from the previous round and have them fight alongside them. And there was some actually good uses of it. I really liked how Wonder Woman called on Barda, and Barda was like, oh, you just called me here because I'm strong. And Wonder Woman's like, no, I called you here because you know the most about Apocalypse, and I need you to tell me everything you fucking know so I can win this thing. Which, incredible. 10 out of 10. Love it. I to say an okay case, I would be Superman calling on Billy Batson, but it seems more, but that was more just for plot reasons of, oh, we're gonna supercharge Superman with we're gonna make him Shazam. And it's okay, I guess. I don't know. But there was a lot more egregious cases of it, Lex Luthor only calls on Supergirl to use her kryptonite powers. And I swear to fucking God, if we get to the final round and it's Superman versus fucking Lex Luthor, that's gonna be the lamest fucking shit ever. Even if it's Superman and the Joker, that's gonna be lame as fuck, okay? If they were so determined to get Zatanna out, because again, Zatanna sweeps, Zatanna should have fucking swept. Oh, God, I didn't... The worst... Zatanna should have... I'm not even saying this from, a power scaling perspective. I'm saying this from a fucking storytelling perspective. Taking out Zatanna like that was fucking... Why? Why would you do this? So, just to catch you up. So, the Joker calls on Mxyzptlk, which feels like that shouldn't be allowed. That shouldn't be a thing he can do. I think it would have been more, that feels, first of all, how does the Joker know who Mxyzptlk is? And if you can't answer me that question, then he shouldn't have been able to do that. Secondly, it's lazy. It's lazy. A lot of the other choices, like I think Wonder Woman choosing Barda was a very good choice. It shows that Wonder Woman's not just looking at this as like a competition. She's an Amazon. They're used to trials like this. So she's looking at this like it is a trial. I think the Billy one was pretty okay. It shows Superman how, like, because it did kind of seem like Superman was trying to get him out of there because he is a child. I don't know. I think it was always a bad idea to include the villains in the DCKO bracket. I feel like it, like especially because, like, let's look at Secret Wars again. So a big part of Secret Wars is that, like, eventually you kind of gotta either work with the villains or you just gotta throw them aside. And with this one, because it's a fighting tournament instead of just what Secret Wars was, which was, we're gonna put you all on an alien planet, go fuck yourselves. It's hard to explain. It's hard to explain. It's like you're reheating Secret Wars nachos, but, like, you don't really understand why Secret Wars was the event that it was. It's like it's like DC is getting the jump ahead, the MCU, to do Secret Wars badly before the MCU even does Secret Wars badly. There's a fucking reason that, like, Secret Wars 2015 has nothing to do with the original Secret Wars. But yeah, DCKO continues to be bad. Only reason I have issues 1, 2, and 4, not 3. I refuse to buy anything with Will Ospreay in it. But the reason I am purchasing 1, 2, 3... 1, 2, and 4 is because the AEW covers, and that's it. And that's just because, like, one of them had, like, Tony versus Power Girl, fantastic. And, like, issue 4 is Mercedes versus Harley Quinn. All I'm saying is, if you're gonna buy anything, buy the AEW crossover so they know to partner with each other more and tell people that's why you're buying them. That's all I'm saying. Okay, now we're gonna actually talk about books I enjoyed reading. Starting off with Green Lantern Corps, issue 12. Again, Morgan Hampton, now that he has had full reign over the book and has found his footing, has made me enjoy it a lot. To the point where I am now actually calling it Green Lantern Corps and not Green Lantern Corps. And so this one's kind of setting up, like, and I think the last issue set up the whole idea that, you know, all the lanterns are on Oa, and they're kind of having a lot of issues with that. And, like, now that I probably because I got the chance to see Morgan Hampton in person and hear him talk about his writing process, I do have a much brighter outlook on the book. And it's also probably because I'm really fucking enjoying DS9, or Star Trek Deep Space Nine, which is part of how Morgan Hampton is setting up the Lantern book going forward, which is a good thing. It's a good thing that more writers are okay with having 3-episode arcs, kind of similar to how TV works. I am okay with that. I've always enjoyed comics like that because it allows for a very easy get in and get out point for readers. It allows more it allows more people to get onto the book more naturally. And, like, I definitely am seeing the DS9 influence with this. Like, it's, like, there's always the main plot, and then there's a couple other groups. But, like, the bigger thing is that, like, when it seems like with this arc, when Hampton wants to deal with the Lantern Corps as a whole, he breaks them off into smaller groups, and I think that there is a lot of benefit to that, especially with how many lanterns the core book is having to deal with. Also, it probably has one of my favorite uses of a Green Lantern ring. They're getting really creative with the constructs in this one, because, so, Kelly, aka Teen Lantern, is going to, like, you know, they gotta fight off this, like, swarm, and so instead of, because she's the Teen Lantern, instead of having her go fight, she makes a construct of Wonder Woman to fight for her, and it's like that kind of, like, connectivity in the world that I really appreciate, where it's like, especially with the younger heroes, you start realizing that the people that you also grew up reading, like, that's who like these younger heroes think as their like superheroes. Like, it's a special kind of world building that I really appreciate. If you couldn't tell by how I used to be a Miss Marvel account. But I definitely think if there's any Green Lantern book that you should be reading, it's Green Lantern Dark, first and foremost. But if you had to pick a Green Lantern ongoing to read right now, Green Lantern Corps is definitely starting to take a better shape than I think that they did at the beginning. I think Morgan Hampton should just be allowed to write more comics. Morgan Hampton, I don't know if you're watching this. You're probably not, because why would you be? You should go pitch a Deep Space Nine comic to IDW, please, and thank you. Oh, next on books I did read, Supergirl issue 9. So we're kind of getting a return to Kara's status quo in this. I do really appreciate the issue itself. It's crazy to me because I did see on Twitter be like, oh, Supergirl's return, like, oh, Supergirl's like, you know, we're going back to the much more mature Supergirl. And I'm like, oh, the art style just changed. I feel like a lot of the criticism towards Sophie Campbell's writing of Kara being a little too kiddish was just people seeing the artwork and thinking that she was a child. No, she's been over 21 this entire time. She's an adult. And I also especially like how this one isn't like a inherent anti-drinking PSA. It did show that like Tom King's interpretation of this character is not the only one to exist. Kara is the kind of person who will be fine. Like, she's not an excessive partier drinker. Like, fucking Tom King. I hate him, and we'll talk about that more in the next one. So I really like that, like, Sophie Campbell is making sure to stay to the core of this character, because one of my biggest fears going forward with the Supergirl movie, which don't fucking see that shit, Tom King, the war criminal, is attached to it. Remember, the DCEU is not the DCEU, it's the Tom King Cinematic Universe. We're actually gonna start calling it the TKU now on this channel, but, like, I am really worried going forward that there is a potential that DC might want to do synergy with the Supergirl movie, and I really hope that that's not gonna be the case, because if that means we lose Sophie Campbell's Supergirl, I think I'm going to riot. I think I'm genuinely going to fucking lose it. This book has been great. It's been a very nice return to character for Kara, kind of amidst all the other adaptation synergy books that she's gotten. And I do appreciate it. And I do think that part of it is because, like, right now I am approximately the age that Kara is in the book, and she's dealing with a lot of issues that more relate to me rather than possibly some people who grew up with more of the 2000 Supergirl comics, which if that's you have the Supergirl TV show. I don't feel too sorry for you. But, like, I don't know. I've been enjoying the series. Oh god, I probably should actually mention what happens in this book. Yeah, Leslar's being sent back to Kandor. I don't think it's permanent. That's why a lot of people were saying that, like, oh, this is a return to form. They're getting rid of a lot of the extra stuff that they added to this book. And I'm like, no, because it's made pretty explicit by the end. And this comes into the whole play and concept of, like, people aren't really actually reading or engaging with comics. But, like, it comes in at the end that Leslar is going to end up falling into a bad group once again. And so we'll see how that plays out. Okay, and then I want to talk about this because this is the problem with Tom King putting his name on fucking everything. Tom King is a horrible human being. Tom King helped plan the Iraq invasion. He said repeatedly and recently that if he was given the chance to, he would do it again if he could. He is not apologetic about anything that happened during the Iraq invasion, okay? Let's just put that out here. Which is why it really sucks when something like the Wonder Woman Black and Gold special comes out, because I would be excited for it. More importantly, one of my favorite writers, Jodi Belair, you should check out her work. You should check out her coloring. She doesn't get to write books much, which is why I'm really glad that she got a story in this. However, I can't buy it because Tom King's name is front center on the cover. And it sucks. It sucks. And I know that that's kind of the issue with anthology books, but, like, I genuinely don't know why they had to put Tom King on this. Like, he isn't wiping his ass with Wonder Woman currently. I didn't even read the rest of the book. I really just skipped to the Jodi Belair section, and it was adorable, and I love it, and I hope that similarly to how Stephanie Williams... I hope that when Stephanie Williams gets put on Wonder Woman, and I'm hoping she is getting the permanent mainline Wonder Woman writing position. When Stephanie Williams gets put on Wonder Woman, I hope that Jodi Belair gets to pick up Amazon's In a Wee Wonder, the webtoon that Stephanie Williams is writing for Wonder Woman, because, like, Jodi Belair just gets it, and you could tell by her story in this. And then hopefully that's how we're cycling Wonder Woman writers now, and it's just woman after woman after woman after woman. No more men on Wonder Woman, for fuck's sake. It's 2026. Why does a man need to be here? And, like, female writers are usually 10, 20 times better than the male ones. So, like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here in the big year of 2026, and we're still not putting a woman on Wonder Woman? We're not putting a female Wonder Woman. That being said, Stephanie Williams does have 2 issues of Wonder Woman coming out soon. She is taking over on issue 29 and 30. Please go support those. Please just only support those. Please make sure DC, your local comic book shops, please know that everyone in your life knows that you're not picking up Wonder Woman again until Tom King is gone. And that's my PSA for that. Going on to other books that came out this week that I did not read because I have a life sometimes. We have Action Comics 1094. I actually don't read Action Comics this week. And Stack's just gonna put up the cover and yeah, okay, we're gonna just move on. Next up we have Aquaman number 13. Unfortunately, this is still Jeremy Adams on this book. We have not gotten rid of him fully, but I do think that, in general, his Aquaman sucks. Jeremy Adams writes like a man who has never known a woman outside of his mother, and so making an entire issue about women probably does suck. I genuinely do not know a single Mara fan who is happy with Jeremy Adams' Aquaman currently, which makes it crazy that he would decide to write a Hera issue. Next up, Batman and Robin number 29. Personally, for me, I've dropped this series just because I could not take any more bastardization of the Al Ghuls. That is me personally, though. I still think it's a good series. I can't take the constant bashing of them. It upsets me. And then last but certainly not least, Tom Taylor's Court, Children of the Round Table. I know that one of my mutuals is reading it and is apparently good. Again, this is more of a younger, or more of a, like, middle school book? I wouldn't call it a middle school book, but it's definitely not aimed at the same audience as a lot of other DC's comics. I'm glad that more books that are explicitly for children exist. And so if you have a child in your life, you should probably check out the trade when it comes out. They are on issue 5 right now. I do believe it's either a mini or it's a 12 issue. I don't think it's a full ongoing though. Alright, and next up we are going to talk about the indie books. Woo! We are going to start with my favorite PSA, which is make sure you support indie comics. Your favorite artists and writers probably have an indie book out, and it is probably some of their best work. Case in point, Image Comics currently has another issue of Transformers out. Transformers issue 28. If you've liked Transformers 1, if you like Dan Mora, go read this book. Dan Mora does excellent mechas, and no one fucking realizes it because no one currently who talks about him in the whole DC fandom has read his Power Ranger stuff. He knows how to draw a good mech, okay? He can draw a fantastic mech. And I do think it's because, like, I've heard him and Jorge Jimenez kind of talk about their artist process and how exactly you see them. You see them. It's very easy for them to take a picture and do a superhero pose. And I do think that there is a lot of skill coming. There's so much skill that goes into drawing mechas, and like the fact that he's able to translate that amount of detail into it. Again, go read Transformers. Go read Transformers, if not for Robert Kirkman writing it, read it for Dan Mora's art. Because it looks fantastic. And then, of course, I would be remiss not to talk about my favorite publisher, IDW. We have currently the second to last issue of Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, Rite of Spring. Issue 5 is out. I know that the DC crossover, the DC-K over crossover is about to happen soon. So if you want to know where that fucking bear came from, go read Beneath the Trees. Go read the first series, go read the second series. I highly recommend it. It is very good, but it is very gory. Then, of course, I just want to talk about Star Trek books. I know I did not go over the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I just like talking about Star Trek. Next up, we have Star Trek Strange New Worlds, The Seeds of Salvation, issue 5. And I was talking to Stack about this earlier, but it is kind of weird to me that we don't have as many TOS and TNG comics anymore. And, like, I get it because, like, they're kind of oversaturated in Star Trek media. Like, what, TOS had 3 seasons, like, 6 movies. TNG had, like, I don't even know how many seasons, and, like, 5 movies. Like, I understand why they don't do as many TOS and TNG comics. It just kind of makes me a little sad, because a lot of the older comics that were published under DC, I don't think that they've been reprinted. I've not been able to find any reprints of those comics, and those are the ones I really want to read. I don't want to read about Strange New Worlds. I don't want to read about the fucking '09 films. I want to read the original TOS comics, but they don't get reprinted anywhere, which means I have to physically track them down if I want to read them physically. I don't have to. Remember, pirating exists. But I want more Star Trek comics to happen. I'm going to be checking out their DS9 series, though, once I finish watching DS9. None of this has to do with Strange New Worlds. Strange New Worlds is okay. I don't want to see more of them, but the show's okay. Anyway, go watch Starfleet Academy. I cannot wait. I still have yet to watch Starfleet Academy. They sold me on the hot Klingon science officer, the computer, like, cadet, Sam, and the fact that there is a Jem'Hadar Klingon now. They sold me. I was okay when it was just gonna be Star Trek but CW. I was fine with that just being the plot, but now it's fucking good. Okay. And then, talking about good Star Trek media, Star Trek Lower Decks number 15 did come out. We are at the beginning of a new arc, I believe. It might be kind of the middle. I sometimes skip Lower Decks because it doesn't always get uploaded to the pirating sites. And personally for me, I'm buying the comics physically. The problem is at my local comic book shop where I have all of these pre-orders at, and I keep all my pre-orders at because they have been supporting me since I was 15. I'm not there. I'm at school. But they blew up everyone. They blew it to Tylin's blown up, Boimler's blown up, Miglimo's blown up, Tendy's blown up. So, we'll see how this ends, hopefully. I don't know. I really enjoy the Lower Decks comics when I can read them. That's my hot take about this, because also, Amazon doesn't always publish them the same week they come out, and it specifically affects my job and no one else's. Like, no one else really, cares if it gets published a week, except for me, who does this show every week. Anyway, I do have some comic book news, a couple different ones. I do want to say first and foremost, one of my favorite wrestlers, Brody King, decided to team up with Headlocked Comics to design a variant cover featuring Brody King in his iconic Abolish ICE shirt. And all proceeds are going to MIRAC, which is the Minnesota Immigrant Resource Action Committee, to help families who have been affected by the ice raids currently. If you are able to pick up this book, I know I am personally ordering my own copy, but if you are able to pick up this book, please do. I also just think that this, like, can I just say that, like, Brody King, when he came out in that shirt during, I believe it was one of the AEW Grand Slam, he came out in it during that event. That made me absolutely fall in love with him as a wrestler and as a person. Not in a parasocial way. I am a lesbian. But you understand what I'm saying. He's a great guy. Please go support this. And fuck ICE. In no way is gonna backfire on me. They don't know where I am. Next up, we did get a couple more confirmations on the first 5 DC Next Level books. Of course, we know that Greg Rucka is doing Batwoman, Scotty Young's doing Lobo, and Tony Flex is doing Deathstroke, but we got 2 more announcements. First off, Jeff Lemire is doing Firestorm. We got a couple preview pages of it as well, and he seems to really understand the history of Firestorm, which makes sense for the guy who's currently nailing it at JSA. So his Firestorm book is going to come out April 1st. But there's more important news. More important news. On April 29th, we are getting the next Zatanna book. The next Zatanna miniseries. And it is going to be written and illustrated by, yet again, Jamal Campbell. Woo! Cheering. Do the little, like, grunt surprise noise when you shoot him in the head. I love Jamal Campbell's Zatanna, and I was really hoping that when the DC Next Level list got published that he would be on Zatanna again, and I have gotten my wish. I mean, there was no other option for Zatanna, I don't think, except for, like, Mariko Tamaki, but I'm pretty sure Mariko Tamaki's getting Babs. I'm, like, 80-90% sure that she's getting Babs. If not, I think that people are wrong about Shadow of the Bat. I do think it might be another Batgirl book, and hopefully, Mariko could be on that as well, but regardless, we're winning so far. We're winning. And I do want to talk about a indie announcement next, because I did enjoy the Godzilla Monster Piece Theater when it was coming out. That being said, there is going to be another Monster Piece Theater called Godzilla's Monster Piece Theater Presents Romeo and Juliet and Godzilla, which is Romeo and Juliet from the perspective of Godzilla. I think Tom Scully is amazing, by the way. I do really enjoy his approach to comics as a medium. I remember specifically Fantastic Four Grand Design, and that's not just because he remembered Wyatt Wingfoot, which, reminder, next month is Wyatt Wingfoot's 60th anniversary. I'm hopefully gonna have something by then. If I don't, I'm gonna get taken out back and shot, probably. That being said, I really enjoy Tom Scully. I'm really glad that we're getting more Monster Piece theaters. I think that it is a very interesting concept that more comic books who have weird and silly goofy guys like Godzilla should do it. And I know Godzilla's... Look, okay. I grew up in a world pre-Godzilla 2014 when the last Godzilla movie in America was Godzilla 2000. And that was after all the Toho films where he, sideways jumped. So, Godzilla's always been my silly little goofy guy. Okay? Oh, sorry. Tom Scully's doing the bonus on this. I'm just excited. He did some of the original Monster Piece Theater, which is why I got confused. But I love this book. Please go check it out. Because that is it for Last Week in Comics. Over here is your next recommended video. Is an episode of Ash and Their Fantastic Friends, my live show I do every Saturday, 9 p.m. EST. Is it another episode of Last Week in Comics? Is it a YouTube short? Is it an episode of Comics Terminology? I don't know. Oh, Comics Terminology, my show where I go over comic terms and how to be a better collector of comics. I don't know. I only published one of them. Who knows what comes up there? Down here is the rest of the playlist for Last Week in Comics. Again, I've been doing this since November 2024. Entire series have been covered in that time. Please go check it out. And then over here is the subscribe button. Next month is the Wyatt Wingfoot video essay. Next month is the Wyatt Wingfoot video essay, and I have to keep on repeating it to myself because it does not feel real to me right now. And when it doesn't feel real to me, that means I don't work on it. Okay? So, remember, Wyatt Wingfoot video essay next month. I'm dead serious, because if there is no... if I do not do it at Wyatt Wingfoot's 60th anniversary, I never fucking will, okay? Down below, like, subscribe, Ko-fi, stuff like that. I'm done talking. I'm tired. Goodbye.